Hey y'all, Alyece Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Ausome podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Socially Ausome channel. Alyece Smith here. Today, we're talking about one of my favorite topics, personal branding. And I want you to really think about this word, personal branding. Okay, personal, meaning the key word I want you to look at, because it's so important that you understand how to humanize online. If you're listening to my podcast, odds are you're building an online brand. And a lot of people don't think of it as a brand, right? They think of it as a side hustle or a hobby. And I want to challenge you to get out of that mindset. I want to challenge you to start thinking about building a brand. And it's so crucial that you understand the importance of that, because a lot of people are scared to show their face on social media these days. And I want to ask you, if you are your brand and you want people to do business with you, how do you expect them to know who you are, right? And building a personal brand is a game changer in the entrepreneurial world, because it showcases your unique qualities, your unique selling proposition, what makes you different. It's going to be what makes you stand out, right? And so if you're new here and you've never heard my story, my business is called Socially Ausome, my brand, and Ausome is spelled AUSOME because I have a child on the autism spectrum, and it was what inspired me to become an entrepreneur. And I kind of set out on a mission when I first started this business, because I wanted to help other people be authentic in their content and build connections with their audience on a personal level, and not just so that they could be silly or weird or stand out or stop the scroll, but so that they felt aligned with what they were doing. I've been in marketing for over 6 years, and I've done a lot of different trainings, a lot of different courses and programs and things throughout that time, both in corporate and as an entrepreneur. And very often I was told, just do what so-and-so's doing. Just copy what so-and-so's doing. Look at what this person's doing and replicate it. ChatGPT can reword it for you, right? Let me know if you've heard that before. Send me a message or DM and let me know if you've been told to do that. And that's okay. I do think we have to study other creators to see what's working and what's not. But the most powerful approach is going to be doing what aligns with you and saying what you need to say in a way that resonates with your audience, building that authentic connection. And that's much more than just coming out unpolished and raw and real, but it's also in an element of the way that you think, right? So another thing that I find a lot of creators doing online when building their brand is they're holding back in a way that they're scared to say what they truly believe because of comments that might be negative or offending someone, right? They might lose a sale because they said something that someone took offensively. And I'm sure this is not a surprise to you, but you're always going to offend someone. You're never going to make everyone happy, right? You're not pizza. I'm sorry. But it's really important that you understand that when you do be bold, when you are bold and you do come out and say the thing that everyone else is afraid to say, you're going to build connection with people so much faster, because they're going to say, wow, she just called me out, right? Or wow, she was bold enough to say what everyone's thinking. And that doesn't mean you have to come out and be offensive. Don't purposefully go out and try to hurt people's feelings. But I want you to really challenge yourself in saying, is your content watered down? Is your brand watered down because your fear of what people might think or your fear of what people might say, right? So really take a second and think about that. Are you rewording? Are you writing posts and then going back and deleting them because you're afraid it might offend someone? Are you creating those videos and then leaving it in your drafts because someone might be offended by it, right? Or it might be a little too harsh. There are so many ways for you to be able to say the things that need to be said without purposefully hurting someone's feelings. And until you get comfortable doing that, you don't have a brand because you don't understand your messaging. If your brand and your messaging is watered down to basically be comfortable, then you're not any different than anyone else that's copying and pasting other people's success, right? Or other people's content. So I'm going to give you 10 actionable steps. I got about 5 minutes to relay it to you. 10 golden rules of personal branding. And I want you to get a pen and paper, subscribe to this podcast so you can come back and listen to it. But write these down. This is important. Okay. So first, have focus, right? Too many people are unfocused when it comes to their brand. And their messaging is constantly shifting. Their content's constantly shifting. They're implementing 4 different strategies from 4 different large creators that they're trying to replicate. And the more narrow you can be and more focused you can be on your brand, the easier it is for people to remember who you are. That is the entire point of creating a brand, is people remember who you are. Be focused on what you're doing. Be genuine is number 2. There's an easy way to have an original personal brand, and it's being genuine and authentic. If you be yourself and you've everything that feels really aligned to you, then you don't have to worry about what's my brand. Your brand is you. But if you're watering yourself down or you're polishing yourself up for someone, then you're not being truly aligned. Number 3, tell a story. If your brand isn't telling a story, you've already lost half of your audience. Right? The most effective personal branding strategy is to build a true narrative around what you've been through, how you got where you got, and why you're helping other people do the same thing. The most important personal way to communicate that message online is video. So you need to be using video content in your branding, in your content, so that people can understand and hear the influx of your voice. Number 4 is be consistent. Being consistent is really similar to having a narrow focus, but it's much easier to get recognized for one topic if you're consistently creating content with your brand voice around it. So if your content strategy or your branding messaging is 10 different stories, you've lost everyone. You have to demonstrate consistency across your communication, your appearance, your visuals. Don't underestimate those tiny inconsistencies in your personal branding. It will deter people from working with you if they don't see consistency across your messaging. Okay. Number 5, be ready to fail. Be ready to fail. Failure's tough. Okay. And we all try to avoid it. It's human nature, right? We try to go the path of least resistance. But to have a personal brand that rises above everyone else and sets you apart, you're going to have failure. Okay. So I think it's really important that you understand pushing past your comfort zone, you're probably going to fail 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times. But you don't lose until you quit, right? So you need to just go in with a mindset of, I'm going to fail. And the faster I fail, the quicker I'll see success. Because that means I am on the right path. Okay. The speed of your success is not as important as the direction. There's a lot of people out there going a lot of places fast and they're still broke. They still don't have success. Speed's not as important. All right. Number 6 is create a positive impact. Once you develop your personal brand, there are genuinely 2 ways that you can continue to build that. All right. Keeping a positive attitude and helping other people. If your brand isn't helping others or solving problems or making an impact, you don't have a brand. Okay? That's so important. Follow a successful example is number 7. So I did talk a little bit in the episode about, just copying and pasting other people's stuff. We definitely don't want to do that. We want to be creative, but you do need to have certain creators that you align with, that you enjoy their content, that you you value their content. So you're watching to see what's working, right? So you do need to have some mentors of a sort that you constantly watch and see what subjects are they talking about, what keywords are they using, what is working for them in their branding. And if you pay attention across all social media platforms and not simply focus and narrow down to only one, you'll be able to kind of see the trends of omni-channel marketing. All right. Number 8 is live your brand. So as mentioned before, one of the ways you can build a personal brand, is to separate your brand from others, but you need to live it. You need to live it. People aren't going to believe you. They're not going to get to know, like, and trust you if you're not living it out. It needs to be an authentic manifestation of who you are and amplify what you believe. My brand talks all about humanizing online. Not purposefully. I don't just go out to say, okay, I'm not going to wear makeup today, but that's who I am. I live my damn brand. I tell people I'm going to be what I got to be. I'm going to say what I got to say. I live it out. I don't pretend to be someone else, right? So make sure that your brand messaging, you're also living that out. Now, I'm not saying you got to go show up with no makeup on. That's just my skill set. But I want you to keep that in mind, that if your messaging and your brand is saying one thing, but they're seeing something else in your content, they're not going to believe or trust you. Number 9, let other people tell your story. Okay. So ask people to share your story. I very often ask you to screenshot yourself listening to my podcast and share it with others. I'm letting you share my story. I want to do the same for you, right? And last is focus on a legacy. I know it might be hard to see in the very beginning when you're just getting started because you haven't seen success yet. But once you've built your personal brand with a reputation and a community behind it, the next step is thinking about how you can leave a legacy with it. A personal brand is a lifelong project. So if you're not casting that vision of where it could be and it could constantly evolve and change, then you're selling yourself short. Stop getting imposter syndrome. Stop self-sabotaging, thinking that this isn't going to work for you. Who are you? You need to know who you are, who you serve, and focus on leaving a legacy for that. I hope you got value out of this episode. As always, if you did, leave a review for the podcast, please. It is the absolute best compliment you can give. Check the show notes. If you're not already in our free Facebook community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs, you can jump in there. There's over 2 years of free trainings in there for you to help grow your business online. And as always, keep it simple, keep it social, and keep it awesome. Bye, guys. Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Alyece Smith, your host, and let me tell you how you can get a free social media audit from me. Make sure that your profile is optimized and you're ready to build. Take a screenshot of you listening to this episode, throw it in your stories and tag me. You can find my handle in the show notes. I will share it to my entire audience, and you will be entered to win one of the 5 free audits that I'll be doing every single month. Number 2, if you found any value out of this episode or any of my episodes at all, please feel free to leave a review. It is the best compliment you can give. Lastly, make sure you check out the link to get into my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. It's in the show notes. We go live in there weekly with guest trainings and more. Until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.